Was that my hat again? Why can't I get to beat to our own song? I got this.
Hey! Too bad we don't have like a runway to actually walk.
Right?
To the
Girl, I was when Campbell walked. She doesn't walk like that. She walks better than what I'm doing. She's like, you know, like a little like.
Yeah, for those
Hey.
listening, I was shaking your shoulder.
Right, yes, girl, the shoulder action.
Me new toe.
What's going on, ladies? I gotta do the shoulder move. You know what I'm saying? I always gotta do the shoulder move.
Shoulder move.
Can you guys see us well? You can hear us. We're good.
Yes, you're good.
Awesome. We've changed location. We've changed locations back to our original location because
very tight.
we're tight quarters.
It's the love, though. It's the love for me. I love this.
It's all about the love.
Yeah, but we want to, as you know.
Anyways, enough of him. Happy Saturday. Again, I love that song. And for those of you who are listening or watching us live, that is a song by the Her Castle Girls. We have decided to only play Her Castle Girls music here on Not Your Typical Girl Talk because why would we play anybody else when we got two musicians? I'm just saying. I do what I can. I do what I can. It's for the peoples. It's for the culture.
It is for the people. It's for the people, and that's what we're all about.
We're all here for.
We're here for the people. I mean,
We're all here
Lord
for the
knows
people.
that's why we're here.
Girl.
So
All of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is Saturday. It is another episode of Not Your Typical Girl Talk, and we are going to be talking about us canceling cancel culture and hashtag protect Dave Chappelle. So we're going to be talking about the Dave Chappelle special closer, but before we get into all of that, as usual, we're going to introduce ourselves in alphabetical order.
Hey everybody, I'm Garcia, and I am always excited to be here with the Not Your Typical Girl Talk crew, where we talk about all the foolishness of the internet. And honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do in the week, chilling with y'all. And what I love is that here it's a safe space.
It is.
A safe space, safe space for the Black perspective. So thank you all for joining us today. We love you and appreciate you. And Telly, how's it going?
Girl, it's going. That's for sure. It's going well. Hey everyone, it's your girl Telly. And yeah, you know, first of all, I'm sorry, but that closure special was hilarious, and I'm not taking it back. I laughed, I cried, I even almost fell off the treadmill because I was trying to work out and watch it at the same time. And that idea was short-lived because the man had me flat on my back, laughing my butt off. But we're going to get into that. Hope you all are enjoying your Saturday so far. Get your tea, get your notepad, and everything you need because we're about to, the realness is coming at you. Shiva, tell them who you is, girl.
Again, I am Sheba, keeping it real Billings. Okay, like, this show, we are definitely about to keep it real because we cannot deal with the politically correctness of this era, this new generation. It's become too much where people have to do focus groups to be able to do their jobs. But I digress. I'm going to introduce my partner in crime, who is probably the least politically correct person I know. Who you with this week?
Robbie 3X. We're just going to continue with that movement of 3 times. Like, I'm really feeling it. Like, I was thinking, like, yeah, so that might be a thing for a couple weeks.
I'm here for it.
All right. So Robbie, so he shall herefore be Robbie 3X for the rest of this hour. Anywho, if you are not following us on our social medias and you're listening to us on Radio Region, please make sure you're following us on YouTube, Instagram, and right here live on Instagram and our Facebook group. We go live every Saturday at 3 o'clock. If you want to be part of the show, hit us up in our DM because we always want to hear what people got to say. Now, I am done with the alphabet people right now. And I say that lovingly because I'm the B in the alphabet too. So, but I'm done.
Interject, because like I'm from a different time and place, and the alphabet people, I think like federal agents and stuff like that. So, I knew, but it did take me a second because I was like, wait,
What? The alphabet people.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Oh,
the other
man.
alphabet people, can you say the full thing?
LBGTQIA plus. They've added some extra letters. I'm not quite sure what everything means, but I am the B.
It's important to recognize
in the alphabet, and I own being a B in this alphabet soup. However, the fact that people want to come for Dave Chappelle when he told the truth is concerning.
Yeah.
We want to cancel people for telling the truth. Here is the thing. And there was a comedian on CNN, and I will likely play that clip. Telly, I know I sent you the Dave Chappelle clip, but I forgot to send you that clip, so I'll play it myself. But there is a trans Black male comedian,
yes,
and we have a bit of the clip in our promo, who basically says, I have 3 fights in this race, but at the end of the day, when I walk into a room, I'm Black first. That is me. When I walk into a room, I am Black first. And what Dave Chappelle was actually doing was talking about, as a Black man, as Black people, the Black experience. He mentioned the baby, a clip we'll play, which had people completely outraged. He mentioned J.K. Rowling, who I didn't even know that cancel culture had canceled because she said gender is a fact. They just be canceling everybody and making up words like transphobic, which is not a real thing, because to declare Dave Chappelle transphobic when he was very clear about the relationship he had with a trans woman who opened up his show. And, you know, if you watch the comedy special and his previous comedy special, he's talking about Daphne, spoken about her plenty of times. Mm-hmm. If you fear something, you don't necessarily embrace it. I have a legitimate fears too. I'm afraid of heights, and I'm afraid of bridges. Bridges are generally height. So you combine the two. And when I say it is a fear, I am paralyzed.
We had a whole thing about
We had a whole thing in our relationship because of my fear of driving over, walking over, and I am paralyzed, like crying, like hyperventilating, all of that stuff. So to call something a phobia just because someone may dislike your lifestyle or your choices, I think it is wrong. Because you are actually, like, should everybody who has a real phobia be upset at those who create fake phobias? Like, come on, man. So if you have not watched Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special, which he says will be his last in a long time, and I don't blame him, please do. And if you haven't, well, we're going to spill some tea here, so we're sorry.
Yeah,
ladies.
There will be spoilers.
Yes. There'll be some spoilers.
So I guess I will start because I started hearing the hoopla right away. Like the night this came out on a Friday, and by Saturday morning I started seeing things, and I'm like, what did Dave Chappelle do now, everybody? I mean, he ran off to Africa and everyone was mad, and now he's back and now you're mad again.
Yep.
Like, what is going on? And so watched the special, and I've always been a Dave Chappelle fan, as many people in our generation are, and I would say even Generation Z and younger millennials. Technically, we are millennials, but younger ones. And everyone's a fan of Dave Chappelle. I think that I do want to start with this one thing, because a lot of people that are talking about Dave Chappelle's special didn't actually watch it. They did not watch it. And a lot of the, on Instagram, we have a lot of, like Diet Prada, we have Six Buzz TV, we have a lot of the, little kind of news, let's start cancel culture on this now, let's those kind of social media sites that actually cause more problems and cause more division than anything else on the planet right now. But anyways, they are taking pieces of his stand-up performance and putting it out there and saying, well, this is what he said. And then there are people out there that have come out and said, no, you skipped the whole part where he talked about his friendship, you know, with yes, who is a white transgendered woman. Now, here's a perspective that I heard from someone, and even though they said this, they still went back. They talked about the idea of, you know, it's funny because, you know, when a white guy stands up and he says, oh, I have a black friend, and, you know, my black friend, da-da-da-da-da, and dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. So, you know, we look at that as a negative. Why are we saying that it's okay for Dave Chappelle to say that? And then I said to someone, I'm like, listen, I have no issues with a white man saying that he has a black friend. I personally have no issue with that. If a black man's like, you know, I have this black friend and they're amazing and da-da-da-da. I'm like, what's wrong with that? Like, the whole context of black person is different than that of, we're talking about, you know, transgendered people. And I think that there is a hate for, really, to be honest with you, I feel that we have a long way to go, first of all, with understanding that there's always going to, even if Dave Chappelle went up there and said that he's not really for the lifestyle of transgendered people, he has every right to say that, because everyone's allowed to have an opinion. I'm sorry, everyone is allowed to have an opinion. We are not going to, as a collective, all agree, ever. That's never going to happen. Second, why? Why are we allowing someone who is an artist, the same way how Van Gogh, who chopped off his ear,
what am I keeping my hand up because I have an answer?
And everyone was like, yes, yes. So why can't Dave Chappelle be an artist and create his art and leave it there for us to interpret?
I have an answer to your question about the difference between Dave Chappelle speaking about his transgender friend and a white man just coming up and saying black friend. He put her in a position to win. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
This man met this woman because she would come to his shows and laugh her ass off at the transgender joke and all of his jokes. He befriended her because he saw, like, wow, this woman is not offended at all by me being what I do. He talks about having her open up for his show for 45 minutes, and she sucked. She was horrible. He said for 45 minutes, she stunk up the entire place. And he's Dave Chappelle, not an up and coming comedian at Comedy Central. He's Dave Chappelle, and he put her in a position to win. And even though she bombed, even though he went up there and he praised her and appreciated her and put her in a position to win. So the comedian talking about there, I have a black friend who he only invites to dinner when he needs to show off his black friend, is very different than somebody who puts a person in a position to win where their own people, and I'm going to put that in quotations, were not doing the same. So yes, there is a difference. Let me just say. That makes sense.
Yes, no, there is a difference. And I also feel that people, no matter what Dave was going to say up there, unfortunately, we are in a world, a generation where, you know, we have 7-year-olds that are saying, well, I am this and I am that, without much understanding of what they're doing. And we are still moving in this thing where we're talking and we don't understand. We don't even, you know, a lot of the people, again, did not watch it. They've never watched a Dave Chappelle special. So they have no idea even his style of joke. Because, as you know, he educates while he tells these jokes, right? It's not just foolishness. He doesn't walk up there and make fun of something. He brings things to light and makes you see, oh, hell, yeah, I get, because he makes fun of black people all the time. Of course.
And that's the point. Here's my thing. If you followed Dave Chappelle's career, when Dave Chappelle was making fun of black people, they offered him more money.
Mm-hmm.
They offered him more money.
That's true.
Okay?
And
when he sat down with the execs and said, I want to go in a different direction with my show, they said, nah, Dave. You're not going to do that. You're going to keep doing what you're doing and make fun of the, you know what I'm saying? Dave Chappelle left and went to Africa. He left. He said, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I need to go find myself.
And he had a mental breakdown. Because when he was making fun of the crack addict black person on the streets of Brooklyn, everyone was like, yes, we want more of that. The white powder all over his nose walking around. They love that. But now he doesn't want to do that. And they're like, well, now I want to walk out of my own job at Netflix, which, listen, everybody out here is ready to work for Netflix. So you're replaceable. And Netflix, even today, they had to fire someone for sending out inside info on Dave Chappelle to like a few people, apparently 4 people, who were like, oh, well, I'm walking out. And it's like, there's only 4 of you. You're not affecting nobody.
Go. Like, the world is so sensitive that, I mean, remember the whole Cater to You with Destiny's Child?
Yes.
And everyone was like, let's cancel them because, God, how dare you take care of your man? How dare you love him and rub his feet, because that's slavery. And it's like, you know what, y'all? This whole cancel culture has gone way too far. It's becoming ridiculous. You have a right to your own opinion. You know that Dave Chappelle's a comedian. Therefore, there are no rules. They'll make fun of anything and they get away with it because that's their job. They're allowed to make fun of transgender, black, Indian, Chinese, and everything in between. Any lifestyle you live, it's free game.
And also, Tully,
that's what you sign up for. That's it.
Right. And he made a point saying that, listen, of every comedian that's making fun of transgendered people, what sent poor Daphne over the edge?
Oh, her
own people.
The transgender,
because they couldn't accept her own opinion. She wasn't even allowed to have her own opinion.
No.
Yeah.
So they pushed her off the ledge. They did it.
I'm again take a different spin as I usually do. I look at look, Dave could have went up there and made political and potty joke for an hour and 15 minutes and got the same check. He's a courageous man because he continues to tackle that golden triangle of racism, sexism, and discrimination based on gender identity. Those 3 issues they cross in so many different and entangled in so many different ways that you can't really separate them. Like she said, she's 3 different. She kind of touches on all of them. You know what I'm saying? So why would he feel the need to go up there and tackle those subjects continuously and frequently? My opinion is he is an ally of that community, and they are about to cancel their most prominent ally because, again, they want to tell him how he gets to talk about them, and you can't do that. And it really, the problem was, again, not the trans or the gay or the anything, is the white of it. He took to task the fact that his biggest problem with that community is that white people in that community default to their whiteness when faced with adversity. That is a legitimate gripe. I think everyone on this show would agree with that statement as not being truth, but fact. Again, they talk about violence against transgendered people. I'm willing to bet if you take the level of violence against white transgendered people and black transgendered people, I know where my dollar would go to bet which one would be higher. Because again, white transgendered people are still protected under white supremacy. And that's what Dave was trying to say in the special title, The Closer. That's why at the end he said, I'm not even going to talk about y'all anymore. until y'all recognize me for
That's it.
who I am.
Exactly.
That's it.
I also want to bring up too quickly, Rob, as you brought up, when we look at the stats between white transgendered people and Black, first of all, here's the first thing. White people usually have the finances to get the work done.
Oh, yeah.
And
That
they
part.
get every single thing
everything
done.
done.
They don't really have to deal with standing out and looking different,
No.
as in where a lot of Black transgendered people do not have the finances to get the medications,
No.
to get the surgeries. So they don't end up looking as female or as male as they would want to be, as they would desire to be. And therefore they get chastised for it. And therefore they go through a whole other different experience. Being a Black transgendered person is a different experience.
Oh, yeah. Look at Chaz. What was it? Chaz
Thank
Bono. He was the sheriff's daughter. She's white and she got the surgery to look like a man, and
Right.
and you would never think she was a woman before.
No, because she just
You look at whose gender or Caitlyn Jenner, or whatever.
Jenner.
From like it was night and day. And
Yeah.
you would never think the latter.
No.
But we don't have that kind of money to do that.
No.
A lot of Black people don't. So we have a different experience than what the white person
Because of our Blackness.
Yeah.
So, you know, Dave has a quote here. I'm going to read it out. I think it's such a great quote. Our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first is that if you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. The second is that to love someone means you agree with everything they believe, say, or do. Both are nonsense. You don't have to compromise convictions to be compassionate. Listen, you can love me. There are people in my life. My mama is one of them. When I came out to my mother, she cried as if her daughter had died. When I sat with my mother and my daughter was beside me and said, Mom, I want to let you know something other people have known for years. I am a bisexual woman, and at the time I was dating a woman who I wanted her to meet. She never eventually met her because I just didn't want to put that other person through that. But my mother cried to the point where my daughter was like, did mommy just tell you like she has AIDS and she's dying? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, my daughter had to say, Mommy, let's go. Like, we're leaving because I don't want to subject you to grandma's bias or feelings or whatever about that. In that moment, my mother still loved me, but she couldn't accept that her daughter had chosen, or her lifestyle was something she didn't agree with. She came to deal with it. She came to accept it. She still doesn't love it, but it doesn't take away from my mother has an opinion about what it is that I do in my life, and she's always going to have an opinion. It is what it is. It doesn't mean she doesn't love me. Rob is over here dropping gems. Thank you, Twinzing. But that's the reality, right? Like, you don't have to like what someone does, but you should have the right to say, I love you, but I don't agree with this. You can't disagree with anything in today's society. You can't disagree with anything. Nothing. Rob's over here laughing. What is so funny? Because you're dying beside me.
I love you so much.
What?
I'm over here fearing for my life when you talking because them hands be going and I just
we're very intimate right now.
You so close, hands be flying like kung fu, boy.
Oh, this is funny. Dream alignment code said, you mean your mom didn't cancel you? No, my mama didn't cancel me.
I'm surprised.
My Jamaican mother did not cancel me. Again, she doesn't love it, but she didn't cancel me. Because again, like, this idea that we like, you have, I'm sorry, baby, like you have
no,
to,
I'm not making you so conscious about it. I'm teasing you.
You have to agree with everything someone does. It's crazy to me.
And it's dangerous. And I'll tell you why that's dangerous. Because, so I remember on our planning call, I said, remember the 80s and the 90s? When you could have an opinion and everyone was like, okay, that's cool. You're a Democrat, you're a liberal, you're a conservative. That's cool. I'm this. Oh, okay, that's cool. And everyone would just walk around knowing that they're not the same, and that was okay. And now we're in a world where we feel that everyone has to be at a collective. We have to be collective. We have to be in the same thought. And the thing is that I'm working actually because someone has asked me to do a talk on sitting in your discomfort. Because we are finding that this is a major issue. people don't want to sit in discomfort. They're saying, if I don't like that you like Red Sox, then we cannot be friends.
Yep.
We can't talk. You need to move out of the state, out of the province. You need to go find new friends.
Wow.
I'm writing you off, blah, blah, blah. All of this simply because you like Red Sox and I don't. And we are working at, you know, putting this thing together because people are trying to say, I don't want to sit in discomfort. So I'd rather just cancel you and do everything I can in my power to get you fired, to have you lose your job, lose your money, so I can feel better about myself.
That's the world we live in.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
That's it.
Try this off the side. Talk about delusion, because we canceling delusion, right? Is there a bigger oxymoron than comfortable change?
Oh, because you can't be comfortable with change. It's change.
Like, remember when Obama
like
won? Like, I was one of them idiots that was like, man, I was emotional like a woman, boy. I was like, oh my God. Like, yeah. Like, you know, remember the signs? It was just the one word, like, change. Like, oh my God, it's about to be different finally. No, because there was no discomfort to it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing was taken to task. Nothing was tipped over or revolutionized or nothing. It was status quo. So we live in a society that says we want things to be different. We want change, but no one wants to be uncomfortable.
No.
How's that going to happen?
Exactly. You have to have one for the other. You know, like, in order for change to happen, you've got to be you know, when a kid is growing up, you know, kids are like, Mom, my body hurts. Their body is hurting because they're going through puberty.
Going through the change.
They are growing. And guess what? Growth hurts.
There's no BBL for the ills of society. Like, you can't just go take some fat from here and move it over here and be like, Pacow.
That is going to be one of our promo quotes.
For the cure for society. You can't just snatch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just ain't going to work out like that. Like, you actually have to put in the work, be uncomfortable, the blood, the sweat, the tears that come with change. In order for it to be different.
And with that, I'm going to actually have Telly play the clip that I think is so profound. And it basically is one of the clips that starts this special. And we're going to sit with that clip for a moment because, you know, it's going to be our mid-break and we're going to reset. But Telly played that clip of Dave Chappelle saying what he said.
Okay.
The baby shot and killed in Walmart in North Carolina. Nothing bad happened to his career. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
Like, remember when that right prior to that, like, Dave was like, even I was like, God damn, baby, like, you went kind of hard on it. You know what I mean? Like, even he, in his own humorous way, recognized that the baby's comments were pretty outrageous, you know, like, kind of, like, I remember when I first heard it, I was like, yo, what he going through? Like, did he pass something in the parking lot on the way up on stage? Like, that was very oddly specific, you know what I'm saying, with some of the vitriol that he spit that day. And, you know.
But when you balance that between
shooting a nigga
in Walmart
I don't know.
and saying some unkind words about the gay community, I'm going to think as a Black person, even though I'm part of this community, I'm going to weigh the shooting in Walmart takes a little bit more precedent. Like, if we were going to cancel him for anything, it should be taking a life, not hurting feelings. And with that, hold on, let Corsia reset the room. Let her reset the room. It's the midpoint.
Self-defense, though, man. Self-defense, though, man.
Thank you so much for joining us on Not Your Typical Girl Talk. Today we're talking about cancel culture, which is something that, you know, if you hate it, go on Black Twitter and talk about us so we can get some more followers.
Exactly.
On here.
We welcome the hate. We welcome the hate. Bring it
Thank you to Radio Region, of course, for giving us this platform with iHeartRadio, being able to share the good word with all of you amazing people out there. Listen to us every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Instagram, IG Live, and catch this replay eventually. I don't think it's going to be this week, probably next week. But anyways, Radio Region, syndicated through iHeartRadio at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for the support, everybody. Let's get back to the show.
Robbie three times. Robbie three times.
You know what I mean? Like, it's an old saying, like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? That's what cancel culture does. Like, you can't take a whole person and the moment they make a misstep or a trespass or error, you throw them out the room. You know what I'm saying? Even some pretty significant trespasses. But the whole point of it being is like, we got to really figure out in order to, I don't know, who does cancel culture benefit?
That's a great question.
That is
wish I knew.
a fantastic question. And if anybody would like to let us know, because we are still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Right, because I think that's
great question.
I'm just kind of leave it on that. Like, because I think we got to figure that out as part of it. Like, I think we seen the social media experiment, whatever the Netflix thing is. Like, yo, why are we being programmed to be at each other's throats?
Right. And I fully agree with you on that, Rob, because the one thing I've noticed with, cancel culture, it gets everybody riled up to the point where no one is no longer thinking with their logical caps on. They're just kind of going like, whoa, that's it. I'm walking out of work today because Netflix, my work, they're telling me that, this #1 show, they're not going to take it off. So I'm going to walk out of here right now and I'm leaving my job. Okay. So your 3-4 kids that you have at home, your mortgage, your responsibilities and bills that need to be paid are going to stop being paid because you left Netflix. Yet
you got caught up in
Dave
the moment.
Dave Chappelle is okay because he's made hundreds of millions of dollars. And as we saw, if you watch the credits at the end of all of these specials, even the same closer, he's got a lot of white friends. Dave Chappelle is loved by the white male community. Loved. He's got that white male privilege that Kanye's got, that Nick Cannon's got. So do not worry. You think you walking out of your little job at Netflix is going to affect Dave Chappelle's life? I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not. So why are you doing it?
Because they're white. That's why. The transgenders, at least the ones that I have seen that have spoken out about Dave Chappelle's special, were all white. Because what did they do again? They defaulted, like Rob said, to their whiteness. They default to their whiteness. So me as a transgender white male, female, I have the right to go because I am privileged. I am white. They will listen to me. I guarantee you there are probably black, gay people at Netflix and transgender people. They ain't better than to try to walk out no damn Netflix.
No,
they don't get the privilege of whiteness. Okay. And that is what the Dave Chappelle special was singing. We are living in a world of whiteness and white privilege that as long as it doesn't affect them, we are okay. So the baby, you can shoot a man in Walmart, self-defense or not. He black, we ain't worried about you. But you do a 30-second, 1-minute rant about members of our community. Oh no, we come into your net. And again, let me tell you something. And this is, I'm gonna say this. It might be the last thing I say because this, you know what? Why this upsets me? North America, Western society, with all of these freedoms, okay? There are countries where people are still persecuted for their sexuality. Jamaica is one of those places. There are countries where coming out as gay or lesbian or bisexual will get you killed. Mexico, the border of this country, will do that. So if you want to take up a fight in terms of a human rights fight and changing the laws in countries that are still persecuting people for being the way that they were born.
They won't
Not
do that,
because
though,
they are transgender, but their sexuality. So that's why this upsets me so much, because they're taking a fight in their North American little cushy society, wanting to cancel people, but they're not taking that same energy to help their fellow brothers and sisters in little shithole countries like their old president used to say, to be better.
No, and see, here's the issue. And Shiva, you bring it up very well, but here's the problem. And I'm not saying it's just America, but in order for this to really penetrate, I have to use America as the example. America only cares about America.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people don't care about what's going on in Guyana. They don't care about what's happening even in Paris or Denmark. They don't care what's happening in Australia. They don't care what's happening in the Philippines. They don't care what's happening in Jamaica. They care about America.
Yeah.
They care about Dave Chappelle, Bill Cosby, Weinstein, R. Kelly. They care about America. They don't care about the struggles and the persecution that's happening in the Philippines right now.
No.
They don't care. That's where the problem lies. The world is very small to a lot of Westerners. A lot of Westerners think, well, my world is only my block, or my state, or my country. If you don't look like me, if you don't talk like me, if you don't speak the same language, and if you wear a different costume or clothes than me, then we are not the same, and therefore I don't care about you.
Yeah.
That's the reality. It sucks. And it's not fair. And this is what Dave Chappelle was trying to show in his special. But again, because they only care, they only care about what's going on here
in their little
bubble, they don't see beyond. They don't see the gift that Dave Chappelle was trying to give them.
It's easier to pick on him than it is to go to Mexico and risk your own life of getting killed because of your lifestyle. So they figure, okay, I'm just going to pick on Dave Chappelle because that's easier and attack him, although he doesn't feel it. And actually, this is good for him because his ratings are going out the roof.
Right.
So if they want to continue bashing him, keep bashing him.
Keep walking out.
Keep walking out. Keep bashing him. Keep talking about him because his special is rising. Yeah.
Listen.
So good for him.
I lied to them.
Dave said.
Why are they alienating and trying to cancel a man who spent 12 minutes of his stage time, like the thing says, talking about his trans
friend? 12 minutes. Memorializing his trans friend.
How did
that part did block that part
because
out.
They didn't watch it. Because most of them didn't watch it, and if they did, they live in such a insulated, privileged world that they miss the entire. They just, it's like when someone, it's like when you come out. Listen, it's like when you come out and you ask your boyfriend or your partner, hey, do I look fat in this outfit?
I tell you.
And hold on. And they say, yeah, babe, I don't really love how you look in that outfit, but when you put on this other outfit, you looked marvelous. I didn't hear.
No.
Well, I wouldn't hear. But most women didn't hear the I prefer you in this outfit and went into details of why I prefer. They just heard the outfit that you have on that you like, that you want to wear, so you shouldn't have asked anyways. They didn't like you in that outfit. You missed the whole other part. That's what the transgender community, they missed the fact, even that little 10, 15 second, 23 second, I think, was clip we played about this man literally shot and killed a black man in a Walmart where people are shopping with their children. Nothing happened to his career, but he had a rant about the LGBTQI plus community and people want to cancel him. That completely missed them.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, to me, I think, again, they didn't watch it like you guys are saying, because how many people have watched that special? I'm sure it's ticking up into the tens of millions.
Mm-hmm.
During that segment, I'm gonna keep it 100 right here, and I'm sure there's millions of people that feel the same way. The term memorialized is accurate. If you came away from that special not feeling like, I wish I could have met Daphne, I
I
don't
did.
know what's
I
wrong
wish
with
I met
She
I
sounded
did.
like she was a
I
funny
wish
chick.
I
She
could have met
sounded
her.
very cool.
She
I
sounded
wish
like an amazing person.
I Googled her to find out about her life
Yeah.
because I remember saying, I've heard him talk about Daphne before because
Yes.
he's talked about her in the previous special, and I want to say maybe the special before that.
Yeah.
And when I heard, because I didn't, and so in the end, when he said Daphne died, I started crying because I hadn't realized that Daphne had committed suicide not too
No.
long ago. I was in tears because
That's
I've
crazy,
heard
bro.
about Daphne before. And so to know that her own community bullied her for her defense of Dave Chappelle and said, I am a transgender white woman who knows this man and he's been nothing but good to me.
Right.
For them to attack her for her opinion, and it wasn't her opinion, her experience with this man, for the point where she got so overwhelmed with everything happening to her that she jumped off a building.
That's
Thank you.
heartbreaking, man.
It is.
And
It's
you know
a
what sucks
very
too?
tragic story.
You know what sucks too? Like, you know, he sets up a fund for her pick-me. Sets up a fund for her daughter. But they don't care about that. They have no time for that. They're like, oh, okay, screw the daughter. We're here to come after
$50 million.
They don't care about her offspring. They don't care about that. They're too busy complaining out, oh, well, he touched our community and, you know, like, who cares? There's a child that lost their parent. At least he's doing something. He's stepping up to the plate and taking care of his friend's daughter. What are you doing? Like,
And
going on blogs and typing out and filming things and putting on Instagram and TikTok and who are you? What are you doing? Have you even sought out to donate even $5?
That was the brilliance of the special. I heard another comic talking about it from a very different perspective, and she said something that I thought was very interesting, and I will not shoot down that perspective. She said, I didn't think it was, I thought it was kind of boring. I didn't think it was that fun. And I was like, on a certain level, I can give you that. Sure. As a professional comic, it wasn't a lot of punchline joke.
Agreed.
He told stories throughout that whole special. But the point of it being is that he knew what he was doing.
Yes.
In one segment, he took to task white supremacy in the transgender community, right?
That's it.
So he knew he was going to do that part. So and he was like, I'm going to set the scales up and see how this thing plays out. I'm going to do this on this one hand, and then I'm going to do everything in my power to demonstrate how much of an ally to this community I actually am. Absolutely. Like, I am deeply and profoundly impacted by a person who lives and was immersed in this community, right? And see which one of them gets more traction. And it's like neither one of them is getting traction. What is getting traction is he said mean thing. What did he say mean? That there's white supremacy in the LGBTQIA plus community. There's still white supremacy there. That's the mean thing that he said, and that's why they want to cancel him.
If we even
nothing he could say after that could counter what he said.
If we and think about I don't know, I think most people love CNN, love it or hate it, but you've got Don Lemon and who's the other gay man?
Oh,
Anderson Cooper. When Anderson Cooper came out about being gay, there was love and support. There was an embrace of loveliness. Oh, Anderson, the bravery of Anderson Cooper.
His little baby, and Anderson.
People love
he is very loved.
When Don Lemon came out and was gay,
it was
wasn't so friendly.
Complete opposite.
Wasn't so great, was it? Wasn't so open and warm. Don Lemon even recognized within everything, they still see me as a black man. He's not seen as a black gay man or a gay black man. He's not a gay black man. He's a black gay man. That is very different. People see gay white man.
What time does the show come on now?
It's very late.
Isn't it like 11?
Very late. Very late.
I like Don.
I love Don. I'm a fan of Don Lemon.
So this was what's free with me me and Dawn, and
why are you pushing Dawn back so
and
far?
now Chris Kumo's in trouble apparently. So.
Because don't be going hard on white supremacy.
Because he's a black man
And
before
it's like it's
anything.
music, because they be like, you gay, we don't care what you say. Like,
But we love us some, and listen, black people, white people, everybody loves this some Anderson Cooper.
wow, that's wow. He's a great experiment. Don Lemon is a black gay man, and people can be like, you're gay. Nobody cares what you say.
So I'm actually going to play the clip of this lady speaking. There's a comedian called Flamin' Rowe who I'm actually going to stop. There's a comedian called Flamin' Rowe who was on Don Lemon's show of CNN discussing this situation. So I'm gonna give me a second. I've gotta hold on. Let me.
What do you think? Did the jokes cross the line for you? Well, see, I have 3 dogs in this fight, so let me start there. I'm black, I am a comedian, and I am transgender. So I have 3 dogs in this fight, and I want to be fair to each and every one of those platforms. What I heard from Dave Chappelle's latest special was the overpouring of racism that he talked about, because I understand that he's talked about the transgender community, and some of the things were painful to hear, but funny, because as a comedian, that is our safe place. That is where we are the safest on stage, where we should feel like we should be able to say anything. Nina Simone said it best. How can you be an artist and not speak about the times? He says it in socially inappropriate ways that people say is not politically correct, but it's teachable moments. And there was no lies told. Here's the hypocrisy for me, Don, and I love my community, LGBTQ plus IA, and I'm saying it correctly because I am still a comedian first, but I'm going to be respectful tonight to everyone involved, because I have three dogs in this fight. The love of me as a comedian will always be in me, but I can hide that. The transgender person that I identify as will always be in me, but I can hide that. But the black person in me, I can never hide. I hate the fact that we keep skirting around. So here it is, the hypocrisy. Dave Chappelle gave his friend, his friend who was white and transgender, who wanted to be a comedian, an opportunity to open for him. Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest to do it of our time right now. That was a huge opportunity for her. The LGBT community never reached out to give her any opportunity like that. But then they turned and said that he was transphobic, he was homophobic, all the backlash he received from 2 or 3 episodes ago from specials. And she stood with her friend, the transgender woman, and stood against Dave to say, no, he's not like that. The LGBTQIA plus community bashed this woman so bad that she jumped off a building and killed herself. Dave was not responsible for that. So who is? Because
we don't know. We don't know exactly why she killed herself. But anyway, go on.
Her Constitution and my Constitution are very different. The backlash at me, I'm not going to do that. But here's the thing: who are we blaming for that? You're not blaming Dave. Dave gave her an opportunity that the community did not give her.
Okay.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Oh, and she again,
That's
no lies were told. There were no lies told in that special. Dave spoke about white supremacy, but all they heard was, oh, you know what? Because I think he talked about the North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, using the bathroom. Like all of these things are like, oh my God, he hates us. Oh my God. And they're again not talking about the hypocrisy of even saying he hates us. Who's us?
I forgot. Yo, this the radio, y'all got that. But and spoiler alert, but the Beyond Impossible
Oh my God, that's the impossible.
Hilarious. That was kind of mean. I forgot that.
It was politically.
That joke might have had something to do with some of the cancel energy too.
You know what I said it on the focus group. I'm gonna ask it again. What part of him being a comedian did people forget? Does he need a focus group? Did he have put together a focus group? And every community he was offending, he should have gone and done a focus group and said, I'm going to say this on my special. Are you guys okay with this? Because if you're not, you can rewrite it for me and I'll go up and say it the right way. Do you need a focus group?
Imagine go to his WhatsApp.
Imagine how dry.
Hey, team. You
comedians. Listen, I even want to go and say, because I've watched other comedians. I've watched white comedians. I've watched female. I've watched ones of different races coming from different places. And I have never seen a comedian that doesn't offend someone or some group. They have to. Because comedians look at the modern world, as our friend just said. Our world has these issues. The best way to deal with it is to laugh about it. Some of these jokes that you think would offend me, I'm sorry, I was dying.
I was laughing my
like
head off.
I'm sorry. And then even though he was like, I was joking. I didn't hit her. Like when he told that whole joke about
the lesbian in the bar.
And for some reason, I died. And he's like, I'm joking. I didn't do that. And I was like, I don't care. That was hilarious. So because funny. Just the way how he delivers the joke, I'm like, this is like, it's hilarious.
Like his joke on feminism and
just his whole look on feminism. I mean, this is the thing, like we said, so you know, the idea with white supremacy. White supremacy has been pushing that Me Too movement. It's been pushing the LGBTQ plus community without even knowing. And people are supporting these movements, not knowing what they're truly supporting, because again, they forgot that whiteness exists. And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I never got that experience at that restaurant. I'm like, well, you're white.
So
go ahead, Sheena.
So, and people seem to forget that the whole Me Too movement was started by a Black woman. I talk about her in my book. Yep. I am always pronounce Toronto. I think it's Toronto Bird. I always butcher her name. And it wasn't about the Harvey Weinsteins of the world. It was about the R. Kellys of the world, and the fact that Black women's experience was not being seen and spoken about in the same way for white women. But as the other, you know that white comedian that you showed me where he talked about white women co-opting everything, including the Me Too? Bill Burr. Bill Burr is hilarious because he talks about white women in their Lululemon pants coming around and co-opting every movement, even though their experience is not the same. And that's what they did with the Me Too movement. Because they went up there on the Golden Globes or the Oscars or whatever, and they decided to wear all black or whatever they did. So instead of actually, and I think Dave talks about in the special, instead of actually boycotting, instead of saying, you know what, we will not film another film until we see some changes within the film industry that protect all women. Right. The showrunners, the executive producers, the assistants, everybody. No, the white women went up there and were all black and was like, yeah, we're all for the Me Too movement. Get the hell out of here.
You are. And the thing is, it's funny because then you have, you know, also mentioned in the special, Kevin Hart, whose dream it was to host the Oscars. And because of something he said 10 years ago, was taken up so much to the point that they were like, okay, dude, you're out.
Well, either apologize.
And I was like,
no, I'm not apologizing for what I said.
It's like, but wait a minute, what?
He's a comedian.
Like, what? Like, there's a lot of issues that I have with the cancel culture movement. Because, again, it's working without merit. People that should be canceled, and I'm going to say it. For instance, you know, leaders of the Catholic Church, when are we going to finally put all these people in jail for raping off Indigenous children, for raping off young boys and young girls in private schools? When are we finally going to cancel that?
No, that's still going.
Listen,
because it's predominantly white.
I love how you brought that in. That'll segue into my next point. Remember the question earlier? Who benefits from cancel culture?
White people.
White people. Because again, you know, my background is in economics stuff like that. Look, go back to like the plantation days and when we were actually in slavery. Again, another uncomfortable thing for people to talk about. And then you say, okay, emancipation, whatever. Just think about that conceptually for a minute, though. Okay, you're me. I'm a 45-year-old man, been existing for 45 years. I've obviously been working since I was young because I was a slave, you know. And then it was like,
now you're free.
You're free. Go do you. I'm 45. I've been working my whole goddamn life. I don't have a pot to piss in a window to throw it out or boots on my feet to pull up the strap and pull myself up. And we went through all of that, you know what I'm saying? So, and we're still here. But again, if the slaves was working for free, how much you think that the master was paying the overseer? I can answer it. Not much. You know what I'm saying? The poor white man has more in common with the poor black man than he does the rich white man. But white supremacy ensures that his allegiance is with the rich white man. You feel what I'm, you know, how all this is going? So again, everything can be an issue other than white supremacy. Because if we focus on that problem, society really will start to change.
Okay. Yes.
You just said a whole world. That's why I love you. See how smart he is, everybody? I'm just saying.
Guess.
Yes. Some of the facts. That's facts.
Speaking of facts, here's another thing that R. Kelly, that Dave Chappelle said. And because J.K. Rowling's, I didn't know Dave Chappelle really said a lot of things that I was like, I had to go Google stuff. I was Googling stuff after the show was done. And it was a matter of that she got canceled because she said gender is a fact. So the quote from Dave Chappelle is, gender is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on earth had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on earth. That is a fact.
And you are born with parts.
You have a part
that define. Like, that's just like, I love that we're going beyond science.
Yeah,
we were told that, oh, you gotta believe science, and now we believe science, and now we're being told that no, now you should not believe science.
Because like, gender is fluid, apparently.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say it, but I was gonna make a little snarky comment. That is facts, allegedly, though, because we don't know what they're doing in these labs no more these days. They could be test tube babying it up.
But you know what?
Making a whole white supremacy army to take care of our ass if we get too uppity.
No, but the funny part is, and this is my last thing before we go into our final thoughts, there is a transgender woman who is trying to be the first transgender female to actually carry a child, because she's trying to have them implant a uterus in her. So this is a man who's become a woman who now wants doctors to find a way to put a uterus in her so she can carry and give birth to a baby.
Because white men want to do everything that they can't naturally.
But I don't know,
yes, she is white.
Of course. I don't have children, but I don't know who in their right mind would want to go through that kind of
like
a white man who became a white woman. That's who.
Yeah.
Because you understand.
Only a white man has that kind of audacity. Only a white man would want to infringe on the one thing that a woman can. Yeah. Only a white man.
Because when a white, and here's again, a white man who went from having a white man experience to a white woman experience. The reality is, white women are actually much more powerful than white men.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But with that
being said, too damn curious. They need to just calm down the curiosity and take a break.
Y'all remember Rush Hour when Chris Tucker made that joke, like, behind every crime is a rich white man waiting to get paid?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't really a joke. It wasn't really a joke.
No, it wasn't. That's fact. That's a fact.
That is a fact. And there was a rich white man who's getting paid right now.
Every crime. All of them.
There is a rich white man getting paid off a closer, and that is why it's not going down. That man is like cha-ching all the way to the bank. He don't care who's defending who.
Speaking of which, did y'all hear Stephen A. Smith and his coonish ass talking about how he wakes up every morning with the mentality of how can he make his employers more money? Y'all missed that one? Yeah, I just like, cancel Stephen A. ass. If anybody want to cancel somebody like that nigga.
Hold on. So before final thoughts, so let me just repeat. So Stephen A. Smith says he wakes up every morning as a black man trying to figure out how, while he works on the plantation, to make his white employer more money.
Look, I think Quentin Tarantino knew something when he wrote Django. That's why he named Samuel Jackson's character Steven.
Okay. So final thoughts. I'm done.
Yeah, here's my final thought. And it was a lot. It was a lot.
Wow.
It was a lot, but I am going to say this.
Okay.
We need to understand that, like we were saying, Dave is not going anywhere. So I'm sorry, people that are leaving their livelihoods and leaving their homes, burning things down in the streets, whatever you're doing, it's not going to matter. Because just because Dave Chappelle is done right now with these Netflix specials doesn't mean he's not going to do anything ever again. We saw the man. He looks good. He'll be back. Number two, until you start to realize that, you know, what Rob was saying about this idea that behind everything, I believe behind everything, William Shatner went to space this week. He didn't pay for it, but guess what? Richard Bryson just made a whole heap of more money, like he needed more, but he made a whole heap more money. And you need to start waking up and realizing that rather than sitting online all day and tweeting and texting about let's cancel this, sis, bro, you better go get your money. Like the song says, black man, get your money. Black man, get your money. Kelly.
That part.
Yo, well, yeah, get that money, get that bag. Then, you know what, my takeaway, I ain't gonna take it from the Nina Simone comment that you played before, Shiva, where Nina Simone said, you know, how can you be an artist and not speak about the times we're living in? This is the time we live in. Artists are gonna do whatever they want. You can't stop Lil Nas X from doing what he's gonna do. You can't stop Madonna from doing what she's gonna do. You can't stop City Girls from doing what they are artists. They're going to do what they do. Dave Chappelle is an artist. He does what he does. If you're offended, okay, well that's fine.
Don't watch.
If you don't like it, then just change the channel. But no one cares about your pity party. Keep it to yourself. Keep it moving. That's my takeaway.
Cancel the term transphobic. There is no such thing. I've never met a person who quivers in a corner in tears because they've encountered has heart palpitations and does whatever because they've encountered a transgender person. There's a difference between not liking your choices in lifestyle and actually being fearful of it. So if we're going to cancel anything, cancel words like transphobic because they're feeding into a narrative that is incorrect. Dave. Rob 3X, sorry.
Rob 3X. Yeah. I'm going to quote two rappers real quick. One of them is Ice Cube. It's a message to America. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. The second one is the guy Jay-Z. I can't help to pour from one of them. Stop hating on people who made their money the right way through talent.
I'm gonna take my mic. We gonna drop it.
I would drop the mic, but I don't have another one. So
expensive. We have we don't have.
I don't have kind of money to buy back.
Netflix, could you send us some microphones?
If Netflix gives us some microphones, you know, people should we'll get on Netflix, and people can hate on us all the day. We'll have the ratings go up. But anywho, we want to give a huge thank you to everyone that was watching and listening to us today. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's big. That's right, y'all. We're on YouTube, the four of us. Not Your Typical Girl Talk. Look us up and subscribe. You can follow us right here on our IG, on our Instagram at Not Your Typical Girl Talk, and join our Facebook group. We're on Facebook. Same name, Not Your Typical Girl Talk. This is Persia. I am Telly. That's Queen Shiva. That is Rob times 3. Yo, everybody.
Three times.
Let's dance it out.
Let's do
Because
it.
you know we're your favorite time. We spill the tea every day and night, so you know where to come. Listen, to y'all right here, right now. We're the next thing. We're the new Shade Room. We're the new Jasmine brand. You're going to see us on Netflix. You're going to see us on HBO. We're going to be on Hulu. We're going to be on Disney Plus. I don't know how we're going to get on there. But we'll have a kid version. We'll have a child's group version. Paw Patrol. Look out. Listen, yo, we're going to be everywhere. We're going to attack every single age group from the 0 to 3, from 13 to 18, from 45 and up. We're like that. That's how we
And we need a black PJ Masks. Like, that's y'all killing us again. Like, stop having these little cartoon shows and stuff with no black people on.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just ranting.
Okay, so he's done. Thank you,
kids in the
everybody.
PJ Masks on and talk about they need a black boy on that show. Stop playing.
Happy Saturday. We love you all. Again, make sure that if you want to come on the show, hit us up in our DM or email notyourtypicalgirltalk@gmail.com. Happy Saturday. We out.
We out.
Bye.